So yeah, my eyes look more normal. And I'm wearing my glasses too and can actually see. Even though my face looks like one huge airbag mark or something nowadays. Must be the mark of the beast, the Osbournes and their dumbassery we're talking about. I thought I'd go for another walk. Surprisingly, it feels like it's warmer tonight than it was earlier today. So yeah, you don't see me walking around armed or with guards or cops by my side. What's the fucking point? Waste of fucking tax dollars. I'll stay on the block. I won't walk that far. I ate. Moving helps it digest. Just like I said, every time I eat solid food, I normally get sick. Another goddamn lovely joy of a TBI, apparently. God, somebody smells like the good shit. I don't buy flour. Even though I live here in Ohio and, they have flour, I don't buy flour up here. The cartridges are way too much more convenient. Because, let's say flour, 2.83 grams. That's what, a 16th or an eighth? 5, 10, 15, 20. An ounce is 28. Half would be 16. A quarter would be... Wait a minute, is that right? I can't remember. Anyway. 2.83, whatever the fuck that is. 2.83 grams. It's around $30. Which, compared to Maysville, a gram was 20 for good clean shit. Just depending. It is a little cheaper here, but that 2.83 grams would be what? Combusting it. I've never vaped flour. And see, this is what I'm talking about. I wasn't tasered or shot, and I'm convulsing because of the temperature. I'm assuming. Maybe I'm wrong. Anyway, I'm not scared. Anyway, it felt good at first. Now it's cold. Ugh. And I can't control my muscles. It's annoying. Whatever that, I think there's some syndrome or something. But I don't remember what it is, and I don't feel like searching for all that shit anymore. Anyway, it's literally like I'm being tasered. Literally like I am being tasered. But it's because of the temperature. Anyway. 2.83 grams might be what? 2 of those pretty hand-blown bowls. As I said, the vapor cartridges are way more convenient. I showed you all. A couple of those are a month old. A month. And they still have, a little bit left in them. I use them down to the filter. So they're way more cost effective. Most of them taste good. There was one I got recently. I think it was a sativa. It was called Petrol Rainbow. And man, You might as well just been standing over a diesel fuel pump. Oh my God. Here it comes again. And believe me when I tell you, I would admit if I thought I had cannabis emesis syndrome. I try to be unbiased. I've had this forever. Where it feels like I'm going to explode. Man. And there goes a pinch in my ass again. Man, it's like contractions. I swear to God, it is. I've had it forever. For as long as I can remember. They may have hazed me with cannabis, but I don't think they were drugging me that regularly with it. And if they were, the sick pieces of shit. Never mind. Never mind. You kids ought to not be sitting. Oh, the days of our youth. If you'll notice, I was just getting ready to start talking. Hopefully they didn't have their window down. Oh my God. I think I just screwed my left big toe up again. I knew better than to go walking. Anyway, walk it off. Those kids ought to know better than to sit on the corner with a running car. The cop sits there all the time, speed trapping people. Well, in all honesty, they try to watch for the people blowing through the stop signs, and I'm grateful for that, because some people fly right on through here. You know, it's not that busy of a neighborhood, it really isn't. And people see, you know, the intersection clear, so they just blow right on through that stop sign. The cop either sits on the main road to try to speed trap people, and some of those dumbasses do run that stop sign on that main road. They're fucking idiots. To me, it's more about speed trapping. Just like when they sit up at the landscape place, that's nothing but speed trapping. But when they sit camping out on our street, they're looking for those assholes blowing through those stop signs. Like I said, up here in Ohio, you know, my driving and behavior might seem erratic at times, but I am a very cautious, good driver. I just hate driving. People here in Ohio honk at me for stopping, for making a complete stop and waiting the 3 seconds like you're supposed to. They honk at me. Nanette says things to me. Are you gonna go? And it's like... I'm bad enough about speeding and not even realizing it. Don't bitch about me being more cautious. Obviously, I would know if I was speeding that badly. They say that a simple 1 second glance off the road, say to look down at your speedometer, increases the chances of a car accident 4 or 5-fold. Or maybe it's a 2 second glance, whatever. That's why I think all vehicles should have heads-up displays on them, like the Cadillacs had, where the speed was projected on the windshield. It was translucent so you could see through it, but at least you knew how fast you were going all the time without having to look off the road. Just like their version of night vision they had on those DeVilles that time. It was interesting. You could always tell those DeVilles from ones who didn't have that feature because they were... well, there's not enough light to do the air quotes. They were missing that front Cadillac emblem. It just looked like a black hole in the grill. That was the night vision sensor on those cars. It was missing the Cadillac emblem. Cool, look at my nails. I think I'll do one more time. Man, whatever that fucking was, it was like a contraction. I swear to God it was. And this used to happen all the time. I was actually anti-everything in high school. I think one of the first times I ever drank, was that party at Paul and Laura's. Other than the hazing. And I was anti-cannabis because I had grown up seeing that the damages it can cause, you know, whereas Michelle Crawford claims that laced marijuana products don't exist in Mason County, she is fucking full of shit. That kind of dumbass information from a supposed informative group trying to help see it through. What a crock of shit. I wondered where those people had been. Thank God. I was like, man, there's like 4 houses that people have just like disappeared in the neighborhood. But the son's home at the one house. It's like, oh my God, what's going on? Those 2 next door neighbors and the other next door neighbor on the other side are still there. But I think this older woman may have died that lives right here where I'm stopped. I offered to mow her yard for her when I first moved up here again. But, you know, they took that Tourette's thing, was like, what? No, thank you. I'm like, whatever. But I always put her garbage cans back at the garage when I'd be walking. But the Korean neighbors.
Alrighty, well, I love you guys. We'll talk to you soon.
I'm not quite sure. I don't want to call them like the one neighbor. They're Asian, but I'm not quite sure. I know they're not Japanese, but I don't think they're Korean. I hear them speaking in their native language quite often, but I can't recognize it. And I can normally pick up on the main ones. I might not understand them entirely, but like Chinese and Japanese and Taiwanese and Korean, I can normally pick up and distinguish between the 2. Like the neighbors where I'm stopped right now, they're the Korean ones. I haven't seen them in like 2 months. I have no clue where they went. He worked at Tyson. I think he was on first shift. But the other next door neighbors, you know, I've probably asked them what nationality they are, and I can't remember. But I think he's retired military too. He doesn't label his vehicles with it. I think he told me he was retired military, but I could be wrong. I haven't lived up here since 2004, even though I've been here since, 2020? Early 2020? Same neighbors, pretty much. These people sold. There's a new family there. I'm not sure about the people that have that Lexus in their driveway that's like Christie's, or was. I think they live there. All the other houses are exactly the same people. Well, that older woman's gone now. Or she's somewhere. Maybe a nursing home. I don't know. But the only people who are different, they sold this house on the end that I'm walking towards. They moved in. They have a pool in the backyard of this one. It's a bi-level. And then 2 houses down from us, they have theirs set up as like a Zen garden with a koi pond in the backyard. It is so beautiful. I'm pretty sure that's what they said and I saw. They do bonfires a lot in the fall and winter, but I don't really go down and, you know, we don't mingle too much, and then it's weird about people, and so am I. I've never understood any of our family traits. The older she gets, the more I can see Nan in her and like the mentality. Like, obviously you have to worry about day to day, but who gives a shit about, like, thank God she's not like super crazy about, you know, new cars every few years. I think that is such a waste of money. But like, what? I did pay $400 and some for my Coach messenger bag, but it's the only bag I've ever spent that kind of money on, and I've had it for what, a decade without ever buying another one. One of the buckles on the front flap needs restitched, but it's a real bag, so it's held up well. And believe me, I'm not like, oh my God, I can't set my bag on the floor. I mean, I don't put it on the floor intentionally, but I don't shy away from it if necessary. But like paying, like having multiple $400 and $500 and $600 purses, and like literally a whole bedroom full of shoes, good shoes. It's like, God, you are more like Nan than ever before. I remember telling her, I'm like, do you see these pair of Adidas that are still here at your house? She's like, yeah. I'm like, remember I used to mow the yard in them? She's like, yeah. I'm like, I bought those freshman year of high school, and they still fit, and I still wear them. I had to throw them away, though. The sole came off of both of them, and I couldn't super glue them back together. So a pair of Adidas I had had since freshman year of high school, here, still in good enough condition for mowing the yard, at least for the, you know, first few times, and then the soles completely came out of them. So I had to throw them away. Normally I'm meticulous in upkeep and taking care of things, but I have my alleged Joan Crawford moments. I really do. I get overwhelmed too easily because I'm way too sensitive. Most of the times things don't bother me, but when I see injustices that affect more than just me, that's when it starts to bother me. To the level it is. Not to mention my family acting like complete assholes. They don't know how many goddamn times I cried myself to sleep in agonizing pain, and they probably didn't give it. Well, I know they didn't give a shit. Just like the times I'd wake up being raped only for them to be shoving alcohol in my throat till I blacked out. But you know, nobody wanted to know that. So when I call out Kathleen and Franklin Lofton, Kathleen and Cassandra behind closed doors, no offense, Kathleen, and I don't mean it as a feminine slur, but do you think that bitch ever took me behind closed doors to ask if I was having problems at home. Something a little bit suspicious about that activity, which is why I pointed it out and got written up for it. I didn't have authority to make that call. Well, I know federal law and how you assholes decided to break it with your rapey fucking homophobia. Oh, it's only water vapor. Yeah, you can go right ahead and ask Franklin about Stuart Shocking at Dayton Power and Light. Freddie Cluxton, too. And Troy Lemming and Aaron Flack and Craig Rouse and so on and so forth. You know what? I'm going to make one more round because I can. We're praying for you as hard as we can. Eat shit and die. Amen. I had to hear that I don't know how many goddamn times a day. We're praying for you as hard as we can. Says the goddamn drug dealers turned faith healers making $100,000 a year just on the music ministry. Oh, it's fine. I was trying to see her. She's pretty. Have a good night. I think it's a pit bull. Oh. He was like, she's friendly. I'm not afraid of dogs. Hell, I've been mauled by dogs. I was sodomized by a fucking dog. Animals love me. You all saw that video. Well, depending on. That squirrel on that tree earlier today. Just sitting there, waiting for me to feed it. I don't know what it is about us, but the animals love us. And like I said about that female deputy, that day, the meth bottle. Sorry, my nose was itching. That female deputy scaring the hell out of those cattle that day. Don't worry about it. They don't like strangers, and they're very good at reading character. You must be one to assert dominance quite quickly or easily. You don't seem devious. But they don't like Wendell Mason either. They see Wendell Mason and they take off just the same. So it must be your all's energy or something. Those cows would just walk up to me, wait to be pet and fed. Even that big old bull. Oh, and there's another tie. I think I already mentioned it once. The truck to Wendell Mason, that big full-blooded Black Angus bull to him that got that cow down that Ryan had to shoot, but it died. That big old bull apparently went to the Amish and David Shoemaker. So, you know, if you would like me to fucking pull a Katie Porter church camp diagram thing, I sure as hell can. It'll just take me a while, especially after Kim Razor pulled her goddamn pin out. As I said, many people did not want this story seeing the light of day. I don't blame them. I sure as hell didn't want to tell it. Look at all the goddamn shit I've done. But at the end of the day, if it helps move society forward in a productive fashion, it would be morally bankrupt of me to blatantly ignore telling my story. So yes, while I might have trouble getting around with directions and have issues with executive functioning, it's only because of physical trauma due to being a domestic violence and rape survivor, and the neuropsychiatric issues caused by blunt force trauma. All for liking men. So as I said, children deserve at least one goddamn safe space, and it should be the fucking school districts. My church, with Tammy Werline Brown and the Werline name. Applegate Werline Brown. My family in the church where I was interrogated. It was not a good time. We had ties to Maryland, and not all bad ones, at least on my part. Remember about... Never mind. The private medical jet chartered to Maryland. I'm sure everybody came forward involved in that. With ties to North Carolina, and our church believing that demons could be beaten out of people. So I always tried to do what I thought was the Christian thing, donating, seeing things through that affected people in such profound ways, it would literally rip your heart out. What is it? What were their names? Gemma Bergefell and Hodges, whatever. I can't remember. You know what? It had been, I hadn't lived here in so long. I was unfamiliar with the area. I didn't really come up here even to go out for entertainment much anymore, other than maybe Kenwood sometimes or the Levee down in Covington. But that case, that was enough to rip your fucking heart out. I had talked about that right before, well, not right before, but I don't know, 2 or 3 years before their marriage in Maryland, I had brought that up as a major talking point within, people who can make things change. I'm like, this is ridiculous, because I had been through a similar situation, but it wasn't, we were different, this particular relationship. We were different. We didn't feel the need for the societal normalcy. However, with hospital visitation rights during a time when your partner's ill, that should not be denied, especially if a power of attorney is put in place. But believe it or not, they were violated right and left, only for them to say things like, come back with your attorney to prove that this document is binding. It's just like Bette Porter in the L Word. This is Los Angeles. Our daughter was born at this fucking hospital. Both of our names are on the fucking birth certificate, so please get a goddamn doctor. Please. Such a good scene. When Angelica, after she's born, she has a fever, and they freak out and take her to the ER. And then Bette flips out on the admitting nurse because it's like, I need one or the other name. We're both the parents. You're both women. We're both the parents. We're a lesbian couple. I'm the bio mother. She's my partner, my wife. And the nurse is like, yeah, but I just need one name on the form before we can proceed. And Bette's like, listen, bitch. Our daughter was born at this hospital. This is Los Angeles. Both our names are on the goddamn birth certificate, so get a fucking doctor. Please. And that's pretty much how it was. And, that type of behavior ran its own risks. This is Los Angeles. Our daughter was born in this hospital. Both of our names are on the goddamn birth certificate. And that is something I would say. Ugh. You know what's creepier than camo cops, Brian Sims? The ones in the all blacked out wear. They are way creepier than the camo cops. Believe me. Ugh. Like the black ops men. Can't even see their eyes. Wearing those things that look like fencing masks. Ugh. I swear to God, it might as well have been one of those Halloween corn maze things all year long on the farm in Mason County. And they were not hallucinations and delusions. How in the goddamn hell could I hallucinate that fucking MR imaging? I didn't center it just right so that my name was included on it, but hell, I have the copy of it. The actual physical copy and the CD. Copies were sent out. Oh, I said I was going to make one last round. I think I'll make another one. Oh my God. Well, I'm going to go ahead and cross. Well, anyway. Those kinds of cases, like a Bergefell, they just really pull at your heartstrings. Windsor was a little bit different. You know, it was just money, but it was a point of principle. I shouldn't say that it was just money, but that's pretty much what it was. Just money, but it was a point of principle. Bergefell was just, you know. And to be quite honest, his deceased husband reminds me of Dale from back home. Tall, slender. Who knows if I ever met them when I was out up here in 2004, I don't know. I used to be, well, once I turned 18, I actually was a wild person, for the most part. Well, not wild so much as just outgoing. Much more so than today. Loved meeting new people. But, you know, when you face the same trauma over and over, being raped in adult life's different, though. When you face the same trauma over and over, you just kind of give up. Or I did. And that's just how it was for me. It's crazy. I swear I walked in to the garage. Not last night, but the night before, and I swear I could smell, and you know, they'd call it a sensory hallucination or whatever else. I really don't care at this point. It comforted me, and I knew that, whatever. It was like walking in to sit down and talk with Nan. while she was making a big old pan of green beans and corn. And most people look at me like I'm crazy when I mix a pan of green beans, corn, and ham cubes. That is one of the best meals ever. Another reason I have on my glasses is because lights blind me, especially at night. And with the nystagmus at night, it's even more difficult to see because not only do the lights blind me, they reflect or something. I forget what it's called, but it's annoying as fuck. It's like halos around them or something. But you know what that answer was, and I swear to God, I'm not going to turn the light on. I like it dark. When I was younger, they always tried to make me believe that they were angels and that my vision problem with the nystagmus causing like halos around lights, those were angels and, you know, people appearing. And they honestly tried to convince me that I was, you know, pretty much completely dead and in hell. So I'm just, you know, at a total loss. Let me say it this way, and hopefully this sounds, you know, more appropriate, less defensive, more respectful. I'm kind of at a loss as to why the court system would approve such fucking disgusting shit, with my family believing what I just said and the Hulls and the Boggs being old family friends involved in this sick shit. I'm highly, you know, like, if this is what our criminal justice system is, with judges allowing people to believe that sort of thing in religious freedom, but not me being allowed to practice my religion while getting my nuts kicked in for dressing up as a woman, and straight men asking for blowjobs and then kicking my ass because they got upset about it, not to mention my invisible disabilities, the mental health, and the physical that they created by cracking my skull open. I'm just at a total loss. I truly am. You know, the courts didn't even ask questions like, you know, oh, well, look at your record. You're obviously, you have problems with substances. No substance, no controlled substance, no drug sales, no nothing on my record, to my knowledge. Only an AI and a couple of driving infractions. So the courts have just left me dumbfounded. So for my family or them to cry victim in this situation when I'm the one who had to live through it and survived it, only to fucking try to kill myself intentionally, permanently, because of their fuck ups. No offense, honestly. No offense or disrespect to any judicial officers who've been involved in this goddamn mess. You should have followed protocol and procedure even more than what is required by law. Instead of just assuming that I was a total nutcase lying about all of it. Because now, look what a goddamn mess there is to clean up. And that is what I really am here to thank you for. So, may I approach the bench? Now, I know I'm not in a courtroom, I'm just pretending. May I approach the bench? Now, you know You should have asked a few questions, because look at the goddamn fucking mess that has to be cleaned up because of rapey fucking pieces of lying shit, including comprehend falsifying medical records, medical fraud in failing to document human trafficking and or symptoms of neuropsychiatric blunt force trauma injury, and all this other crazy shit. Oh, but since I can't afford an attorney, what fun. We will appoint one for you. He will recommend someone like Primary Plus to, stand up for the medical. Yeah, I don't think I want Primary Plus anywhere near this, considering they're involved. Changing back into my nightgown. Thank you all for the goddamn mess to clean up. Just by me talking about it, obviously, there are going to be questions and concerns. If anybody's doing their fucking jobs. I don't mean... I almost inhaled it. I really don't mean any criminal intent or ill will. I've just, I've been put through the fucking ringer, and you people didn't even bother to ask one single question. You believe law enforcement involved in it from my childhood. And the medical facility, plural, involved in it since my childhood. Because those people would possibly have every goddamn inkling of what was going on when they would ask me to leave the room so that they didn't have to report human trafficking, while touching me inappropriately at times. But by all means, you go right ahead and believe their goddamn shit. I will never understand it. Never in a million years. I might have been able to deal with the anti-cannabis part of the agenda. Maybe. Even though it was recommended and all that other shit. But the homophobia and the transphobia at the levels it occurred with literally at-home versions of a torture program. Whatever. And then all I ever heard was, God will judge them someday. Then on to, we only get this one life. Thanks a lot, you fucking assholes. Oh well.